Hey guys, welcome back to Puck and Stuff episode 11. We love that you guys are coming back to us. This episode is sponsored by, well, A Man Can Dream.
A man can dream.
Let's go! Even though we lost last game, but whatever. The Flames are actually doing well for once. Yeah! Woo!
TNT. Boy! Alright.
Alright. That was funny.
I think it's pretty fitting to play that just because this is going to be all Flames pretty much because we've missed 5 games to recap. But,
Yeah.
you know what? They lost
have-
tonight, but I'm still feeling pretty confident with this team.
Number one in the division. The last 18 games we've played, we're 15-2-1. I wouldn't complain.
That's a pretty good record.
That's a really good record, and one of them is the best team in the league in that situation as well.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
So, as I'm looking at the conference standings right now on the wild card, the Calgary Flames are first in the Pacific Division. 56 games played, 34 wins, 15 losses, 7 OTLs, and 75 points, with a 58 goal differential there. And we're pretty much ahead, right? I mean, LA is second in the Pacific. They play 2 games ahead of us, and they're 71 points. But in the league, we are 8th. So everything's looking not too shabby.
I can't complain. Not complaining at all.
You know what? We'll definitely get into this game. We have some other things to talk about beforehand, but it's
looking good as a Flames
not too
fan.
bad. But yeah. So how are you doing, man? It's been a week.
Oh, it's been a week. I've watched a few Flames games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And there's been some wins, losses, and some concerning things. But overall, as a Flames fan, I'm really happy that we're on the streak we're going on. And not a whole lot outside of the league has been happening, has there?
No, nothing too crazy. I had a few notes down here to jot down from the week, so we might have already touched up on some of these, but I'm just going to go through them anyways.
Double check.
The first one I had was Mark Giordano, Flames legend himself, who played most of his games with the Flames. I think he only played about 52 or 53 games with the Seattle Kraken there, but Giordano played his 1,000th game this past week. And so there's a few videos going out, and people were speculating something. It was really kind of weird. There was like the video that came out with all the players saying, "Hey, congrats, Gio, on 1,000 games." Canuck wasn't on that video, and people were trying to speculate that as maybe there was something to do with it. I don't know if there was. I don't think it even matters because I mean, it's everyone's gone separate ways.
Remember that Seattle game? The little scruffle between him and Kachuk at the end? Maybe that's why.
Well, maybe, but you play competitive, right?
Yeah, it's hockey.
Just one
You
game.
have
I
to.
don't think it even really matters. But hey, good for Gio, man. He deserves the recognition of being predominant in the league for so long. And unfortunately, the Kraken aren't doing too great this first season. It's one season. One season. The Kraken, they're playing smarter than Vegas, in my opinion, because simply the fact that Vegas, they go to the Cup final the first year, and so you go all out, and now it's like your team's slowly kind of declining, because cap space becomes a problem because you're signing all these crazy players. But I think Seattle's really going to try and, take the cap space that they have and just with the time and just slowly progress a team to be dominant in the near future. So with that, we have a signing that they did. They have the cap space for it. Not the greatest signing, in my opinion. With the numbers, I think it's a good signing, just not with the money numbers. But it was forward Jared Mccann, who is leading the Seattle Kraken right now. 50 games played, 21 goals, 12 assists, 33 points on the season. He racked in a $25 million contract for 5 years, so five a year kind of thing. And I think he is, for the Seattle Kraken, he is that first line, whatever, but at the end of the day, in reality, with an average team, he really is a second, third. Nothing against him.
However, he is leading the team in points
For
and
sure.
goals, for sure. And that's probably a big reason why he got that big contract like that. But overall, they're going in the direction of obviously rebuilding the completely different way than Vegas took it. And do you think Gio's gone at the trade deadline?
Is he a rental?
Yeah.
I was still thinking, where does he
Why
go?
would Gio want to stay there, even though he's, how old is he? 37, 38. He's basically in his last years of playing the game. He wants a cup.
No, for sure.
I think he gets traded.
It's just, what team would need kind of it's not even a depth piece. Gio, to me, in my head, I was only really thinking maybe the Bruins. I don't know about the Bruins, though.
The Bruins, I could see the Bruins do.
Because they've lost D depth, especially since they've lost Torrey Krug.
But Charlie McAvoy's playing like one of the best defensemen in the league lately. So if you add a piece like Giordano to that, that would improve it a lot.
Does this solidify your middle too there?
Yeah, for sure. And like I've seen, there's tons of trade rumors. Even there's been some saying he goes to Florida, like the Panthers. And I'm like,
hang out with Bennett.
Yeah, hang out with Bennett.
Nice.
That would, again, good team chemistry already. And again, Florida's such a dominant team. I think he would fit perfectly. But again, there's a lot of teams in the league that would love a defenseman like Gio there. Now, my next question is, if he no matter what happens at the end of the season and he plans to retire, do you see him as a Hall of Famer?
I love him. He's a forever Flame, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
That is hard to say.
Well, no, it's just because he won the Norris, and that was a very dominating Norris win in 2019. It's just, fortunately, there's really no playoff success to show with it, and it's not like points. I mean, the problem is we live in this type of world where in hockey, to be like a prominent defenseman, you have to like be scoring goals because you have to be an offensive defenseman. But it's like, you see like Chris Tanev, for example, just a solid defenseman this season. He's been for a long time. It's just no one talks about him. No one will ever give him the awards or the acknowledgement or credit that he deserves. Yeah. But end of the day, it's just because this style of play. That's how it goes with defensemen. It's kind of messed up in my opinion because not every player plays like a Cale Makar, but you kind of need a Chris Tanev on your team to solidify your D, right?
Oh, of course.
To help out with the defensive zone and get pucks out, right? Because the defensive game is just as important as the offensive game, right? If you're not scoring goals, what are you doing here, right? You're trying to make it so that the goals aren't in your net, right? So.
Exactly. Like, obviously the game has evolved so much that you have defensive players like Cale Makar that can play offensive as well as an offensive player can and play defense just as well as defensemen. However, still in the game today, you still need those defensemen like Chris Tanev to be able to get those wins and defend. They will never get the credit like Cale Makar will get, but they're still out there playing as well. So it's just a defensive game sometimes. Defense wins championships for a reason. That's why they say it.
No, for sure. That's literally with every sport. You know what I mean?
No, it is
but
every sport.
Everyone will always mention it in football. Basketball?
Basketball.
But football
shoot
for
or
sure.
shoot.
But yeah, shoot or shoot, exactly, right? Steph Curry on the 3, right?
Oh, God.
But... It's always everyone talks about it with football, but it's the same scenario with like, a game like soccer or football as you call it in Europe there, or hockey, of course, right? Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know. I think he'll eventually when he retires and stuff, he'll get the credit he deserves. He'll be a Flame for life kind of thing. Maybe I mean it seems
can see
like
his jersey going up. I can see his jersey going up.
That is very
in the
possible. I mean, the fact that what he's done, because not even just that as well with what he was with the team, but what he did with the community. He was very charitable and very philanthropist in that sense, and people respect that. I respect that for him a lot, right? Taking your own time out of your day to kind of go out and help the community around and stuff. That kind of shows what type of person he is, and he's a family man, right? So I think that really helps. That kind of like solidifies that statement as well.
Yeah,
and he deserves the love. He really does. So you know what?
We love him.
I don't think
he'll always be a Flame to us.
He'll be a Flame forever. I just don't think it's gonna be Hall of Famer career, unfortunately. There.
I'm not gonna lie. His points are like. Have the ability, like if you look at his points and what he's won for awards, it's up there for being Hall of Famer, but again, I don't think it's enough for him to be a Hall of Famer.
No,
unless he somehow like wins a cup this year and maybe adds it, maybe they give him the kind of the push to go Hall of Fame, but it's not looking
man
like
I'm really curious. This is why I'm excited for trade deadline.
Yeah, me
if
too.
Giordano goes somewhere, but if he goes to a team that is a cup contender right now, man, he deserves the cup. He really does, because he really could. I think with veteran leadership, there really isn't playoff experience, but at the end of the day, it's veteran leadership. He understands adversity and he understands
the playoff experience. He still has
what you need. He does have playoff experience. That is true. And he's played more playoff series than we remember, right? I mean, because the Flames got there in 09
Mm-hmm.
and 08 or 07. This is like off the top of my head.
07, I think they made it both years.
06 as well.
Oh, 06.
That was his rookie year, but I don't remember if he was solidified on the team. I would have to look back and get the stats.
You also got to realize, back in like the mid to early 2000s, the Flames were a dominating team. They almost won the cup after all, even though they should have.
I wonder what would have happened if there wasn't a lockout, because the Flames lose to Tampa and then there's a lockout for the whole season. Things change, right? The game changed. If the game never evolved like that quick because of the lockout,
a lot of
it could have been different, right?
Different timeline.
There's a whole different universe in parallel. Like, dude, if you're talking about Marvel universe right now, we're talking about, dude.
What ifs? McDavid would thousands.
Would mean McDavid would have a cup by now.
Yeah, probably. But again,
he wouldn't be with Edmonton, that's for sure.
I gotta admit, Edmonton has been playing a lot better since they have, so. And I'll give them that.
I think it's good for Edmonton. I think they now know who they keep for their 1A, 1B situation. They keep Koskinen, and you find it doesn't matter. You find a way to get a goalie.
I don't think they do it at trade deadline. As much as I would want to say they really should, and I've said it a few times on this podcast that they should find a goalie at trade deadline. Yeah. They won't. I got a weird feeling they won't, because just looking at their goaltender situation, it has improved since the All-Star break. It has improved. And Edmonton might look at that and be like, oh, let's just take the opportunity of what we have instead of actually going out and getting a goalie. And I think that's when fans will be like, why? Just why? Because there's been already tons of talks of people wanting Mike Smith out. So it's not looking pretty goaltender-wise, so I truly don't think they will.
That's just fans for you, right? One bad game, it's always off your head. But there's really no one...
What do you mean?
Besides that, exactly. But besides Fleury, I mean, I think Fleury wants to stay with Chicago now. There's really no one on the market. Well, that's what I've been seeing around. I don't know, right? Like, it's... I'm not
out of there.
It's not like I'm in the locker room.
As you can, man.
But there's really nothing too crazy, so I think next year you have to... Off-season, you have to get a goal. Like literally, it's the biggest problem you have. Like, your scoring depth is increased with Kane. You have to see about that, of course.
Your defense is still mediocre, but it could be worse.
Well, no, it's just young.
Yeah.
The problem is when you're relying too much on a young Evan Bouchard, a coming up Niemelin, and a Broberg that will eventually solidify. Will come into your lineup eventually here. I would say next season or the year later. That's a problem, because Nurse can't be the only player there that is over 22 and is considered your top defender. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Russell's kind of lost.
Who did they send off to Seattle again?
Adam Larson.
Yeah,
they're missing Adam Larson.
That was a big.
They really are missing Adam Larson. That is very true. My dad's an Oilers fan. He always says that, and I agree with him.
That's tough.
I don't know. It's just. It's weird. It's weird for Canadian teams, right? Like,
actually, another team I've been noticing recently climbing up in the stands lately, looking like a playoff team, is also Vancouver. After that Flames game against us, I really looked at Vancouver and said, this team has a lot of potential to go far in the next few years. But again, I think it's just a really young core, so you can't really... Again, they kicked our ass, and then you see them go on the 3-game win streak. They beat Rangers, and then got totaled by New Jersey, right?
Dude, New Jersey's been weird. They beat the Lightning today.
Wait, they did?
I didn't know that.
The
Avs. Sorry, the Avs. I said the Lightning. The Lightning...
That's still just impressive,
actually. The Lightning lost to the Jets. The injured Jets. Well, I guess it's really... Right now, it's just the Nick Ehlers that's only injured. But, 7-4. Sorry, I meant Avs. The Avs lost in regulation to the Devils, 5-3. Actually, I'll go through this. McKinnon had a goal. Rantanen. It's always in Makar, of course. Tatar...
Thomas,
Tyler Smith, Damon Severson, Nathan Bastian. There must be yeah. Oh my goodness, this is one of the rookies here, but I'm gonna let me see here with, well, not a rookie, sorry, second year for him, but it's Igor Sharon Govich. I don't know too much about him, as you can tell, as I can't name his name. But anyways, career, he's got 30 points in 51 games in this regular season. Sorry, 58 points in 104 games played in this 2 seasons. So not too bad.
Not
I mean,
bad
anyways,
for a rookie.
no, I'm surprised Hughes didn't get a goal, man. That's not. He got a few assists though, so thank goodness for fantasy.
Yeah, for sure. Tristan, do we have anything other than Flames to talk about?
Well, so let me just quickly go through this. Let's just okay, yeah. So before we get into more Flames talk, there was a bit of a trade here. Just future considerations loves to go everywhere, man. He's gonna be on every team. One of my favorite players, by the way. I was thinking of getting a jersey, except he keeps changing his number. So I'm thinking maybe I'll get like future considerations on the back of. Where does he go 69. A lot? He goes to Arizona a lot. Yeah, I get a 69 jersey.
Get a 69 jersey. Just
Arizona, Kachina, number 69, future considerations jersey.
Yeah.
If you guys like that idea, put up thumbs up and comment that, please and thank you. So future considerations was given to the Oilers for their goaltender to San Jose for Alex Stalock. So I guess San Jose is just kind of trying to get their second and third string goaltender. I don't know if I said the third string. That's always quarterback talk. I don't know if I'm saying goalie, but yeah. So I think he'll kind of do that. San Jose's kind of in a weird little spot. They really do need to start rebuilding. I mean, their goaltending has kind of been lackluster, of course. I mean,
again, I was truly never confident in San Jose when they got the Erik Karlsson. Like, as soon as they got Erik Karlsson, I was kind of like, I don't like this. This seems like a little bit off to me. And they were really dominant once they got him the first year. But then he kind of went on a downslope, and the whole team went on a downslope. So it's not looking pretty. They're 24 and 25. They're basically 500 in the league right now, and it's not.
In my opinion, you trade Couture, you trade Hurdle, you trade
Burns,
Meyer, and Burns, and you just get some prospects, and you rebuild.
I think their goaltending is also a big problem as well lately.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works. That's really it for that out of Flames. But let's go for the Flames stuff here. In my signing, in the sense of signings and stuff and trades, Rory Kieran's one of the Flames prospect signed last week, so that's nice. He's on the Flames roster officially.
Nice.
So he'll be probably out there after helping out with the Stockton Heat eventually there. So that'll be really nice. We got a lot of good depth with the Heat, and you can tell because how they're doing. They're first in their division this year, and
you're making me want to search it up. I think we should also mention the Heat in this episode.
As well, we also had future considerations come to Montreal as well because we got Montreal Canadiens goaltender Michael McNiven. So we're adding more to our depth on the AHL roster. I don't personally understand it because we kind of have solidified the goal. I mean, unless this works out, if for say Vladar is gone next season. He won't be because he has one more year. But Vladar is gone eventually pretty soon, and then McNiven comes in to replace Dustin Wolf, and Dustin Wolf becomes our backup. I don't know what you think, but
seeing that trade is just like, okay, cool, more goaltending depth, and I thought it was a little bit weird, especially back to Montreal as well, but I truly don't have much more to say about that.
Because we have Adam Werner as well, yeah.
Yeah, we have, again, our prospect pool is actually not looking terrible, to be honest, and again, no complaints. Again, it's just another trade for a backup goalie, but honestly, I would love if we could start jumping into these games. Hey guys, we're back. Anyways, I was going right back to it. We're going to talk about the last 5 games that we been away for the last week, so we'll quickly mention the scores of the last few games. So our first game was on Tuesday, March 1st. It was against the Minnesota Wild, where we came on top 5-1. And we took a little bit of a tumble on Thursday against the Montreal Canadiens, where we took the L 5-4 in OT. That was a pretty tough one. But then we came back on the Saturday and won 4-3 against Colorado, and that was a big win for us. And then on Monday, we had the Battle of Alberta, where we took the win 3-1 against the Edmonton Oilers. And then tonight, the game we just watched, the Flames sadly lost against the Capitals 5-4. So Tristan, out of the last 5 games that you've been watching, what do you truly have to say? Do you have anything?
Okay, so one, we said this at the start. I'm not worried at all because what are we 15-2-1 the last 18?
Yep.
Come on, dude. We're fine. I'm not worried about that. The one thing I did note down, this was I noted this down, and it was during the Montreal game. And I agree with this with every other game, though, that was close, even though if we won it. Or even, of course, the Washington loss. It's penalties and turnovers kill us.
We've had a lot of high stickings lately.
A lot.
That's what I've noticed.
It's a lot of... Some of the penalties, to me, are justified. You know, if there's, like, a breakout, you're going to trip the guy, right? It just makes sense. But there's sometimes there are stupid penalties, right? A little bit too much roughing, you know, like those high stickings and stuff like that. But there's a lot of neutral zone turnovers. I'm not saying it's, like, specific players or anything. I've seen Zorov do a few, of course, still. Monahan as well.
Those are my two,
Dubé and Ruzicka will sometimes have some, and nothing against any of those guys for that. But it seems to be, when we struggle, turnovers will lead to a goal, and then, of course, that goal ultimately lead to lack of momentum. The momentum changes, and we saw this with the Washington game. When we scored the third goal, when we were up 3-2. Yeah.
Against
Washington, yeah.
Yeah.
There was momentum there, and we were playing strong. And then all it took was one play for Washington to score, and all the momentum was taken away. A lot of that was kind of set up through turnovers and stuff like that, and then the play became more sloppy, and the momentum shifted to the other team. So that was my biggest concern with this team, I guess, in the sense of like pros and cons. Too many penalties and turnovers. You know, I almost feel like pick your battles in the sense of like, you know, I love how this team is great. I love how this team plays with physicality, and you can tell that like, teams are like, they take this team seriously now because of stuff like that. But sometimes it's unnecessary roughing and unnecessary like physicality, and I think that's what kind of causes it. So maybe look out for that, and I ultimately look over the penalties, and don't get too cute sometimes, man. Sometimes you get too cute in the neutral zone. Sometimes you even get too cute in the offensive zone. It's just like, you know what? Sometimes all you need is like shot on the pad, good pad, bang, rebound right there, right? Or even sometimes like nice, nasty garbage goal. Like that's what you need. And we do get those. It's just I find sometimes those turnovers just a little bit because of too cute of passes, or trying to get on that highlight reel. But other than that, for cons, for pros, what I have is that this team is scoring at will. Lindholm, against the Washington game, scores and now has 29 goals, as long as Mangiapane. Mangiapane should have almost had 30, but that was offside, unfortunately. So
yeah, there's always
that's great. Game. We have a guaranteed 230 goal scorers.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love that Sutter has got Goodbranson literally looking like a solid bottom six pair defenseman. Not even bottom. Sometimes
he plays like a second line defenseman.
Zadorov, I love the physicality. Of course, I think he caused a lot of the turnovers. Personally, I mean that's what I see. Sutter's been playing him well, and we have great goaltending. I see positives. You're gonna lose some games. You lost the Washington game. I think there's some tiredness. There's a bit of sloppiness from certain players, like Sean Monahan, unfortunately. But other than that, I mean, Colorado was a great game. That game really stuck out to me because it felt like a playoff game. They played hard. Both those teams pushed each other. Honestly, at the end of the day, Colorado probably should have won that game, to be honest. But we got lucky and we still won it. But hey, not every game is going to be fair, as we see, right? So that's how it goes. Montreal was the greatest one for turnovers and penalties. That was like, dude, you're losing to Montreal because you're playing stupid sometimes. Some of the minutes. Wild was domination. Edmonton, I think we were just the better team. I didn't really see too much threat from Edmonton. I mean, McDavid had a few almost McDavid moments, but luckily the defensemen were playing hard on him. There's a whole shutdown line. The second line was a whole shutdown line.
They contained McDavid very well.
Yeah,
and very well.
Even Draisaitl too, right? And the power play wasn't on. And Edmonton's one of their biggest strengths is that power play, because you literally got three players that can just rip a shot to the net from a 1T, right? And, I guess Hopkins wasn't in there. And Puljujärvi, but Evander Kane even, right? Like, he's been putting up some points now, and I think like you know, you got to look at that. But it's nice that we're seeing, like, the Wild, who's a team who's high up in the standings. Montreal, of course, is on a hot streak because of Martin St. Louis as their coach. Colorado being the greatest team in the league right now. Edmonton literally having the two biggest superstars in the world. And Washington also, you know, declining a little bit because of age and everything. But at the end of the day, they're still a completely dominating team that knows how to win games. So
it's a fun season.
What do you think, Brendan? I keep rambling there.
Yeah, you kind of did. I'm not gonna lie. You took most of the stuff I said. Yeah. So for the last 5 games, again, when I saw the Minnesota game, it was complete domination, just like you said. Against Minnesota, that was even very shocking to see.
And they're home too.
Yeah, exactly. They were home. And then you look at the Montreal game, and honestly, as you said for cons about this team right now, it is penalties and turnovers, and it showed the most in that game. And we were lucky to at least get a point because
100%.
I wasn't expecting a point in that game. And then right after that game, sorry, I'm kind of blanking at the moment, we did versus Colorado right after, and I was kind of terrified watching. I was out with some buddies on Saturday, and I was terrified to actually watch this game because after what I saw in Montreal, and we're going to verse the best team next away, and I'm like, oh, that's a scary game. But Gaudreau did end it for us, which I'm really happy. Again, Gaudreau, if we could sign Canuck and Gaudreau again, oh my God.
We're going to sign Mangiapane, bro.
It's looking like, again, this is all in year, so there's a reason why. So again, we came off a great win off Colorado, and then we versed Edmonton, and just like you said, it was a very, not dominating game, it was a good back and forth game, but we contained Draisaitl and McDavid a lot during that game, and I think that's also why we came out on top. Gaudreau again ending it with that pretty impressive third goal, so I'll give him the handles on that. And then we just versed Washington. It was off a back-to-back, so I'm not too mad we lost this game. But in mind, there are 2 players in my head that have been kind of decently cons. And my first one is Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan has played 56 games. He's put up 22 points. He has the worst plus-minus on this team with minus 15. And we pay him like 6.5 for like another 2 years. So at the end of the offseason, I would honestly, if he got traded, I would not complain because that cap space would be very useful. Zadorov's always been on my list of players that have been a con to this team. And just, he's gotten better, but again, I'm terrified every time he touches the puck. That's probably the best way to say it.
It's just so many turnovers that you're like,
exactly.
Oh my goodness. The biggest positive with Zadorov is that physicality, which I love so much. Like, he does defend his team. That's what I do love about it. I really think come playoff time, you're going to want that, right? It's going to get gritty. Penalties aren't going to be called for some blatant calls, right? Yeah. So it's nice to have Zadorov because he will definitely come and defend.
I think Gabranson is playing way better than Zadorov and giving less turnovers.
It's just crazy that Gabranson, like, dude, it's... Okay,
I think I would choose Gabranson over Zadorov any day.
I named my fantasy team this year Gabranson for Norris.
Exactly!
Good luck, charm.
And also, I got to put it out there, Dylan Dubé, he's a very young, talented player. He's not obviously playing up to his potential this year, which kind of sucks to see overall. But I've probably mentioned a few times, I have hope in the guy because it's like, hey, everyone has that one bad season. Kachuk had it last year, and you saw what happened to him. Gaudreau has been all over the place with it, but now he's actually playing. I think we give Dylan Dubé a chance. He still has 3 years on his contract, and I could see him making a big step up next season. I really do. I think you should keep playing him because he's not a terrible resort player.
It's not a sophomore slump because this is his 3rd season now, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to have a few seasons. I honestly think, we've had so many positives, so we don't think about it so much with this team this year.
No, but this is just kind of that episode we do mention that. Mm-hmm. Like, again, this is kind of a Flames episode, if you haven't already tell. But I think basically...
Yeah, with Dubé, like, I agree. Like, it's just not too worrisome. It's not... Because it's not like he's gave him the puck up like it's a charity game. You know what I mean? Like,
of course not. No.
It's more that it's just pucks are. It's like puck luck's not going his way. I guess it really isn't as much maybe forward offensive presence as there was last season. But you know what? Maybe it's just the year.
Again,
Players have that, right? Players have a down year and they come back and it's like, oh my goodness, where'd you come from, right? So I'm not worried. I mean, if it was like, this team had a bunch of struggling, whatever, then you would go hard on it.
Yeah, we've done that
probably
before.
The only reason why him and Monahan are not criticized too much. And I don't want to completely criticize these players just because, it's a bad season. I feel bad for Monahan. He's had his injuries and stuff, and it's just... Yeah, Gaudreau's thriving, of course, with that line, Lindholm and Canuck, and maybe Monahan's just done not wanting to play fourth line minutes, but you got to work for it, right? It's a work ethic thing, too, at the end of the day. It's sad to see Monahan's fall from grace. It really is, because when did we
pick him? Like, fourth?
I consider him one of the most underrated players in the league 4 to 5 years ago. I still believe that was a true case back then. You can't. I have no way to defend that saying now because it's not true anymore.
Oh hell no!
He
hasn't been the same since
years.
I wouldn't even say. I kind of want to look at his stats over the years lately.
Sometimes he does score some decently clutch goals.
He is in his prime though, which is really weird to think of. So, yeah. So his first 2 seasons, he was a 60-point player. In 2018-2019, he put up 82.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he dropped the 48, 28 last season, and now, he did play 50 games for 28 points. So I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt because of injuries, but he's it's going a little bit downhill for him, which is really sad to see. But again, we are still winning, so I can't truly complain and be so mad at him.
He's always going to be talk for trade bait. But hey,
in the off season,
if he gets traded, let's say he gets traded this season for cap reasons or something, maybe I don't know if you can get something with the value right now, but maybe a change of scenery helps. So, it's just weird, right? Because Monahan, what are we looking at here? Oh yeah,
I just looked it up and I'm like,
isn't that crazy?
God,
who's the affiliate for the Eagles? Is that the Avs?
Colorado Eagles?
I don't know if it's the Avs affiliate.
I think that's the Colorado AHL team, and then Bakersfield is Edmonton, then Abbotsford Canucks, obviously. Are they? They should be,
Vancouver's.
Right? Yeah, and then...
They just got them, because they used to be the Utica Comets.
They're using the old logo for the AHL team.
I love that logo, the Johnny Canuck one. I love it.
I can't believe they used it. That's so sick. That's funny.
I was looking at the jersey. It's green. Search it up right now and tell me what you think about it.
Really?
I've debated on buying it. Okay, there's a few... Okay, off topic. There's a few jerseys I want to buy that aren't NHL. One of them is a Penticton V's jersey. Right, BCHL. I have some family that live in the Okanagan area, so I love the V's in that sense. Tyson Jost was a Penticton V. I love the V's jersey. And the Abbotsford Canucks jersey.
Oh, no way.
Do you like it?
That is actually sick.
The green is sexy, man.
And they're still using, oh my god, it's just all old, Vancouver retro logos they use for their AHL team. That's sick.
There is a Johnny Canuck green jersey that the Canucks did wear. If I'm correct, it was either for warm-up or a preseason game. It was only worn once or something, but it's around. People have it. I would love to find where to buy, probably eBay.
You might have to go to eBay.
I'll also check the Penticton V's jersey. Tell me what you think about that one. There's also some Penticton V's, yeah.
All right.
There's also a few SHL jerseys that I wouldn't mind buying to add to the collection, but I think I should probably keep going with NHLs. I need that Black Skate Canucks jersey. I need it.
I need to add a few more jerseys down here. But
I also need an Avs. I'm thinking of Peter Forsberg. What do you think, Peter Forsberg?
Colorado jersey.
Yeah, man, kind of nice.
It's
nothing crazy. It's just I just like. It's I don't know. I like it. I don't mind it. It's just...
You know what that weirdly looks like? That looks like the Alberta... have you seen the Alberta, Alberta Hockey Junior League photo?
Look at my hat. It's the Team Canada jersey with the V in it. But there's a lot of storied history with the Penticton V's. with the
Is there?
VCHL. A little bit, nothing too. I think there's a few NHL players that actually did play with the VC.
Damn, we're
like
totally
history.
going out of place.
And like I know Tyson Jost of the Avalanche was a Penticton V, but just because like I have family there and stuff in the Okanagan area, I do like that. So
Oh, you know what? You also forgot to mention one thing about the Capitals game.
what about that?
Well,
There's a few things to do right.
yes, you're right. Exactly.
Which one do you mean though? First,
I'm talking about Ovi.
Okay, cool.
And
so,
I guess Backstrom in that regard as well.
So we'll start with that. Nick Backstrom and Alexander Ovechkin. Played 1,000 games together today.
That's crazy.
1,000 games. That's a duo, man. It's weird.
That's an iconic duo.
No one talks about Nick Backstrom, man.
You know who they talk about instead, though? They talk about Malkin and Crosby.
Well,
That's always been the
It's
shadow
fair.
duo for like most of the 2010s.
Backstrom
Let's be
and
honest.
Crosby,
here.
like all they do is assist each other's goals. You know what I mean? It's like usually it's like if there's a point from Ovi, or if there's a goal from Ovi, or it's usually
there's
an
an assist from Backstrom.
Exactly. It's a primary too, right?
Yeah.
The crazier thing too was before the big one, Michael Bachmann was played his 800th game today, so that was good for him. Congrats. So he's in the league. He's top 5 for Flames games played as a Calgary Flame. So that's really great.
Top 5?
Yep, he's with number 1. It was Iggy, Giordano, Al McInnes. Who's the last one? Oh no.
Wouldn't technically he be the last one?
Who did I say? Oh, Robin Regier.
Oh.
Robin Regier's number 3, sorry.
No way.
It goes,
really?
Yes, it goes Iggy, Giordano, Robin Regier, Al McInnes.
And then him.
Yep.
Really? Robin McGear played that many games?
Yeah, he did.
More than Alan McInnes?
Yeah, I can't complain.
That is, oh, excuse me. I'm not going to say that's weird, but
what's
that
funny
weird.
is we were talking about future considerations. I was watching a video. Shout out to, I think it's I Don't Give a Kachuk on YouTube. I think that was the guy who made the video.
I like the username.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
That's a pretty funny name.
And
I always got to go with Kentucky cheese.
He made a video about future consideration trades, the best ones that like helped out teams. We did a future consideration trade. I think it was, what trade was it? I can't remember the trade. But anyways, somehow through the trade tree we got Regier. So
really,
where was it? Conroy. Okay, I might be wrong. It might have been him or Conroy. But hey, Regier, man, like solidified Flames for life, right? Like. Flames legend.
Damn.
I miss those days.
That
man.
brings back memories.
It does. It's nostalgia at its finest.
Hey, you know what? We get to look to the future now, and we get to talk about it every day.
Yeah, well, speaking of
complain.
past, present, future, we have Alexander Ovechkin there, tying Jaromir Jagr for third in goals, 766 goals.
He's beating Gretzky's record.
He's
beating Gretzky's record.
I was gonna ask you, but you already answered it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to answer it anymore. But yeah.
But just like, okay, when you think of just when we were growing up through the 2010s, the number one player you always thought of like was best in the league was Crosby.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Ovi was right behind him, and he deserved that.
It was
credit.
literally solidified number 1 Crosby, number 2 Ovechkin. When
been like
Lindstrom
that.
was playing, it was Lindstrom, but he was going down to his prime. He was number 3. But Datsuki, Pavel Datsuki, Patrick Kane, dude.
Oh my god.
You know what? I lie. Number 1 and 2 were solidified, but Kane was up there. And
Kane would have been.
as well.
I would have said Kane would have probably been 4-3. I would say Taves was probably top 10 for sure,
You
but
know
I
what?
wouldn't say he was in top 5.
I'm taking everything back. Danny Heatley, number 1. 1507, boys.
Danny Heatley All-Star boys.
Danny Heatley All-Star. Jonathan Chichu, 1506.
Oh, you know what?
You got the cover on because of that
You know what we
season,
should
man?
have called the
Yeah,
All-Star
it's fun.
episode? Danny Heatley All-Star.
Danny Heatley
Well, there's
All-Star.
always next year.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to know that from us, I hope. Yeah, but Tristan, I'm not going to lie. 5 games, and we just went through all of them. So, is there any last words you want to go through before we wrap her up?
Well, I want to say, man, it's a treat watching Ovechkin. It's a treat watching those other players. I hope to one day go to a game and I see Ovi live before he retires because
same with Crosby.
this dude is 36 and he is going to score 40. He might. I don't
He's
think
going to play
he
5
might not,
more
He
years.
might not score 50 goals, but because he's passed 34 goals or 35 goals, there's some stat I was giving out yesterday. And it's because he passes 33, 34, 35 goals in a season. If he keeps that for the next 5 seasons, he'll beat Gretzky's record. He's on pace.
Do you want to hear who's the leaders for goals this year?
I don't think he'll hit 50, but I think he'll hit 45. And the fact that he's hitting 45 goals at the age of 36, he's not slowing down. He's a Russian machine. He's got the juice, man. I don't know what he takes in the morning, but Buddy is an absolute machine.
He's a Russian.
I respect it.
What do you expect? He's Russian. He's from the motherland. And I'm not. That's all I'm going to leave about Russia. So if you guys were curious, and Tristan, I think you were also curious, for goal leaders this year so far. So we got Austin Matthews on top of 43. He did score that hat trick.
Yeah, well, dude,
against the Kraken.
Oh man, we make fun of Matthews because he's on the Leafs.
He's still up there as a good player.
Of course he's offensive play. He's just
I wouldn't call
good.
him best in the league though.
He's so good. He's just such a good goal scorer, and I hate
to say that.
No. I don't hate to say it. I hate that the stigma that his legacy right now is being shifted because of the team he's on. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it.
A lot of Leafs players didn't deserve it, but they got it because they only could pretty much get to the first round and then out. That's like, it's kind of sad that happens to hockey players. But
if they beat, I don't even care that their goaltenders kind of pooped the bed since January. If they beat past the first round, it is anyone's playoffs, man. I'm telling you, this playoffs, because of how crazy these teams are playing, it's going to be a lot of 7-gamers. And if Toronto beats the 7th game and they make it, it's anyone's cup. That's how I see it.
Last year a ton of Game 7s, though? There was quite a few.
Yeah, I think
there'll be more this year, but there was a few last year.
It's a weird playoff, right? Because you had was it not a bubble, but kind of a bubble? Excuse me.
It was a bubble.
You're with Canadian teams had to play and with each other, and that was weird. It was kind of cool seeing 2 Eastern Conference teams play each other in the finals with Montreal and
oh my god, that is actually so weird to think of.
It's just the normality hasn't been since 2019. So in my head, the Blues have been the last one to win a cup. Okay, this sounds weird.
Is going to be the most normal playoffs we've had.
The Lightning have won the cup. The Lightning deserve those cups. The Lightning deserve those cups. There's no asterisks. There's no asterisks. The Lightning deserve that cup. I think they would have won even if it was a regular playoffs for both seasons.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. Just I really don't think they deserved it.
It's just because in the sense of normality, right? Because us humans, are used to a certain
formatted.
I guess just certain like routines and stuff, and we all know how the tournament is very routine like and stuff, and with fans in the building and different arenas, it's home advantage for the first 2 games and the next, and then it goes 1 home, 1 away, all that, whatever, till Game 7. I'm used to that, so in my head I'm always like, oh, I haven't been so invested since St. Louis won the cup in 2019, but
same here.
It seems like it'll be normal this year, and I am so excited, man.
I am so pumped,
but like
dude.
I said, it could be anyone.
So pumped.
Back to the Leafs. Yeah, man, Matthews is gonna hit 50, man. He deserves 50. He does.
Well, he's only 7 goals away.
To me, he's the only player on that Leafs roster that deserves their freaking salary right now. He's the only
Mitch
one.
Marner is up there.
And Muzzin.
Jonathan
Riley
Taves.
hasn't been too much of an. I don't know. It's weird, man. I love Morgan Riley's play. I really think that he's one of the more dominant defensemen in the league. It's just he hasn't showed too much.
True. Do you want me to continue with the list, or do you want to keep talking about the Leafs?
Isn't it weird that TJ Brody's still on the Leafs? Is on the Leafs or not still? But I kind of
forgot. Well, he did leave Calgary and went right to the Leafs. So honestly, I'm not that shocked that he's still on the Leafs. Yeah. I think we would have heard something.
Oh, you can go on your list there. That's my.
Oh yeah, right. So Austin Matthews, again, like Tristan said,
43, right?
43 goals for the season. Draisaitl is kind of falling a little bit, but he is at 38. Chris
is it Kreider?
Kreider, yeah, sorry, Kreider. He's tied with Draisaitl for 38. Ovechkin is. Alex Ovechkin is 4th with 36 after today, and then we got Kyle Connor, Alex DeBrincat, David Pastrnak. The list just kind of goes on and on. But
where is Mangiapane and Elias Lindholm? They're tied for 29, correct?
Yeah, they're tied with McDavid, so they're at the bottom.
Oh, look at that, boys!
Yo, Elias Lindholm over McDavid. You know how ridiculous? Oh wait, you know what's funny?
Season, man.
So I just noticed this, and for assists this year, we got Jonathan Huberdeau with 60 assists this season.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gaudreau is right behind him with 51.
And he's number 2 in the season? In the league, sorry?
Yeah. For assists. And right behind us, McDavid
like,
and Kadri. Of course,
he's a contract year too, man.
As a Flames fan, this just hurts when you really wanted this guy to play like how he is for the last 6 years, and now he does it. It just hurts.
Oh,
like,
man.
I'd love to see it because Johnny kind of deserves to have this kind of year, and hopefully he doesn't just disappear in the playoffs. Like
it all matters, and plus, it literally all depends on. It's crazy
he's
how
had a season like this before.
Think of it. It could be a scenario. There's 2 scenarios here where you could have the season is whatever. I think the season will end fine. We'll all be positive. We'll all feel positive about it at the end of the season. But the thing is, playoffs. Either you lose in the first round, nothing matters. What are you going to do, right? And then, because you have one more year with Sutter. So you better hope that you do so. You better hope that the players who leave, you get some decent return. And of course, no free agency would be a good return on free agency. Maybe even make a few trades. Or you do great in the playoffs. Whatever.
You run it back.
Right? Like, it's weird, man. It could literally all be positive, and then we could be on this podcast and be just depressed because we got 5 games again.
Okay, that's why I'm kind of sitting here. I'm like, okay, the Flames have obviously clinched, not clinched, but they're probably going to stay either top of the Pacific in that kind of standard of basically how they've been playing. If it keeps it up, perfect. I'm not complaining. But however, as long as I know they make playoffs, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for them to actually be in playoffs and start playing, and that's when I'll be like, okay, all that work for this. See if you actually can do it. Because as soon as Gaudreau just disappears, I'm like, don't sign him.
No, exactly.
You don't sign Gaudreau if he disappears.
It's very playoff-esque. I mean, it would make it easier, but I love Johnny.
Even if we go third, if we get kicked out third, or we go final, somehow win it.
It literally has to be a
different situation.
It's literally a conference final or bust season, eh?
I think this year you even have to push more than conference finals. This is one of those years you have to push.
No,
last year Gaudreau. Last contract year of Canuck, and hopefully you keep him. Same with Monahan. So many players, man. This is a go big or go home.
I think people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, they're not. You guys are like shooting it really high." I think you have to shoot it high. I think I agree with you on that. Actually, you kind of have to shoot it high because it's not like we're saying that. It's guaranteed Cup finals. Not even close.
Our expectations are saying that basically, hey, this is our last year of what we've been building
My
up to.
expectations is that you want a decent run, that the fans are happy, and that we go on a few red mile runs kind of thing. But
you know how fun that would be?
Oh, I hope, right?
God,
I hope it
That would be
happens.
insane. Me too. Not
but
for
it's
that,
just,
but
it's true. Calgary's in the same place as a lot of teams.
I would say a lot, but
I think so. I think Colorado, Carolina.
All right, here I'll name you a few teams. I'll name you a few teams off of the list I get right now, and I'm gonna say is this a big go big or go home season?
Okay, I like this actually.
Carolina.
Yeah, in a sense, maybe. I mean, Anderson's only here for a few years. I mean, it's not completely whatever, but I mean, you've already made a few bigger trades last season. Govich is out.
I'm also going to mention the teams that are in a playoff spot right now or look like a team that could actually make playoffs.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. So we also have the New York Rangers. No way.
They're not in a win now cup situation, but damn, bro, they're gonna be scary for the next 4 or 5 years.
I think in next year or in 2 years, they're gonna be legit elite cup contenders. And that's scary to think because of how young that core is.
Well, think how old Chris Kreider is. I think he's 33 or 34. And
no way he is.
Look at his goals this season, man. It's like even when Hank was the King was still playing with them, and you had even Martin St. Louis was still with them with Matt Zuccarello, right?
That's weird to think of.
It's like he was not even considered number one on that team still.
No.
Now, it's crazy that he's in amongst the name of Panarin and Zibanejad. And maybe I'm saying this because I'm not average. Okay, I say New York is my favorite American team because I I have a closer connection with family to New York, so that's why I say they're my favorite. But I don't follow them like religiously like the Flames, for example. I always knew Kreider was a good player, but man, he is showing up like he's looking for a paycheck, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I always thought Kreider was always kind of that mediocre, just like kind of how Kadri is. But both of those players really
Kadri's
stood up this year.
slowing down since we talked about him, but
Has he? Oh.
yeah, I mean nothing too crazy. But hey, man,
All
still
right.
having a great season.
I'm gonna keep going. Pittsburgh.
That's a tough. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think kinda
Crosby
because
and
Crosby and
Malkin,
Malkin
man.
are aging. Same with Chris Letang in that situation.
It won't matter with Tristan
still
Jarry.
young, though.
It won't matter. Sorry. It won't matter with Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith
And Jake Gensel.
and Gensel. It won't matter with stuff like that. But
They are aging. They are aging.
Malkin and Crosby. So maybe with that core, yes. Maybe it is. I'll say yes. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Maybe, kinda, because of the aging core with Crosby and Malkin. Obviously, you would want them to win one, but it's kind of like a maybe yes kind of situation. Florida. Do I really have to say it?
They're not in a
No.
win down, but oh my
They have a
goodness.
good chance of winning.
I hope they do. Like
Out of
seriously.
every, if the Flames get eliminated, out of every team I would want to win, it's Florida.
You want Benny with the cup, eh? Yeah, I know.
No,
for
I
sure.
just want Florida to, because over the year, again, the whole 2010s, even you could push it to 2000s, they've just been mediocre, just hit hard on social media. No one went to their games. They were just a trash team. And now you see them now, and they're playing the best hockey I've seen them play since that cup run in like 2004.
And it seems like they average about an 80% capacity now.
Yeah, they're actually playing well.
People are
And
going to the games and stuff.
But-
and I mean, when did they go to the finals? 97? I'm gonna get that wrong, but they went to the finals, but they got swept.
somewhere in the 90s.
They got swept. Late 90s, they got swept, right? So it's like, that's kind of one thing you don't really remember. I want to see rats on the ice, man. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that would be funny. So, to be honest, Florida would be like, they're not in a win now situation, but they have a good chance of winning right now. They probably have one of the best chances in the league.
No, it's not out of nowhere, but it feels out of nowhere.
Here, how about the next team? Tampa Bay.
I would say, yeah, just because, you know what? Okay, the fact, if you can three-peat a cup, which is possible, it very much is. Oh, my goodness.
That's weird.
But you're slowly, eventually, because you win it, you're going down. And I'm not trying to say anything negative with Tampa Bay. They won 2 Stanley Cups. Literally, all praise to them. How can you even criticize the Lightning for winning 2 Stanley Cups? The fact that they're still a dominant presence 3 years from now. There are teams that win a cup and then they get knocked out first round and not even have the crazy good season next year after their cup. Because we call it the Stanley Cup hangover.
Yep.
The Capitals had a bit of a Stanley Cup hangover, right?
Kind of. They picked it up a
The
bit.
Blues a little bit, stuff like that, for example. But you know what? I say yes because, come on, if they win 3 straight in the modern era, now that is something to talk about. And they win it all in different scenarios. You win in a bubble, you win in the COVID lockdown,
And you win in a regular
season. That's phenomenal. And think of it, you've lost a few of your players. No one too crazy. You haven't lost Kucherov or Hedman or Vasilevsky or Stamkos
Like, they're still the
or
only
point,
Yeah.
but you've lost like Tyler Johnson, Blake Coleman, you've lost Andre Suster a little bit there, Yanni Gord, right? So a few depth players, and that might be whatever.
but their stars are still there.
They still have some depth there.
Yeah, that's scary. Steve Yzerman built that team so well.
You trust it, dude.
Trust the process when you have Steve, like Detroit right now. I would just trust him. Look what he did to Tampa.
I mean,
he has a chance of going 3-peat.
Detroit
and
got
it was all because of him.
Detroit got absolutely destroyed tonight against Arizona. But
Okay, maybe you don't trust that.
they
but
literally
still.
have Nick Lindstrom 2.0. All right.
You want to jump to the next team?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Tampa's in also a win now situation. 3-peat would be nuts. Toronto.
Yes. Yeah. I think. It's just because, I mean, all jokes aside, and like being like, serious, like
You need to get past the first round.
the money
this year.
you put,
have to.
the money you put.
Hey guys, we're back. Sorry, we got quickly cut off. Anyways, we're going to go right back into where we started with the talks. Tristan, we're going back onto Toronto.
Yeah,
right?
Toronto. Okay, so what I was saying pretty much was, I think it is a win now situation, just with everything going on with the team, and I think this slowly kind of makes your superstars maybe want to go more away and maybe think of other areas to go with the lack of success. Plus, I don't think the media helps either. I think what this team can do, though, is if they win a round, if they get past the first round, I think they can make a bit of a statement. I think it's anyone's game this playoffs. So, but I think they do need more physicality and they need more veteran leadership and playoff experience. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Again, I do think it is. I don't think it's a win now situation. It's just make it past the first round at least. Like if you can make it past second round, then that's your statement. It's like, hey, we're not just that team anymore. We actually are coming.
But
here
the
to
memes
play.
are over if they whatever
Oh.
if they pass the first round.
Dude, imagine if they don't make it past the first round. That would be nuts. Like, Leafs fans, what would you do in that situation?
Steve Dangle will have a heart attack.
Probably.
And I hope not. I like that guy.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, I'm going to jump to the... we're going to do two teams now because we're kind of going to quickly wrap up. Boston and Washington. Boston?
Not like win now in the sense, because I don't think it's
Kinda?
whatever. It's just with core. It's just core. They're both aging cores, and eventually that's gonna relate to. Like, here's the thing. Like, Ovi's gonna keep playing to get his passes, whatever. Once he passes Gretzky's thing, I don't think he'll probably retire. But I don't really think there's an expected cup win for both these teams. And at the end of the day, I think it's just. So the core will age, and once the core decides to either move on or whatever, then they'll rebuild. So I guess it is a win now situation in the sense that, with the core, yes, but
I would say for both teams right now, it's looking like a yes, because obviously Washington obviously has a more aging core, I think, than Boston is right now. But for both teams, realistically, right now, I would say it's a win now situation. Now we're going to quickly jump to the West. So you got Colorado and St. Louis.
Colorado's not completely.
It's getting. I think it's a
It's
yes.
getting close though, because of you're always only gonna have so much cap space to keep a team this crazy. How good everyone is, they're all gonna get crazy contracts once they're all up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, McKinnon's is one of the craziest friendly cap situations in the world, in the league, and this dude is like literally number 2 best player in the world, in my opinion.
I think they're getting really close to, like, yes, it's time to win, because obviously you've kept McKinnon. How long have they had McKinnon for? Like 4 or 5 years?
No, it's been more. I think it was drafted in 2012 or 13.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Nope,
that is
2013, I think.
That is way
2012
more.
was Yakupov.
Yeah, so basically they're all in their primes. Yeah, I think basically you're looking in, we might need to win now or really quick soon. Because that, once basically all those contracts ends and you have to re-sign them of how well they've been playing, they're going to ask for a lot of money. And St. Louis, I don't think is in a win now situation, but if you could come off from a 2019 win, that would be crazy.
Oh yeah, I think the release of Pietrangelo helps a bit with. I don't know how their cap situation is completely, but I think with the release of like someone like Pietrangelo, I think you have some more room. I think Berube will probably want to stay a bit longer, and the fact that this team isn't really too. I mean, I guess in the sense of Tarasenko, because he might want out eventually.
That is very true.
There's always talks about Tarasenko, like he was talks about going to Calgary and all that, and nothing's ever happened. But
No.
I think St. Louis isn't in a win now. But I think they can still be consistent, and they could still make a bit of a splash, right, with the right pieces in place.
That is very true. Then I also
And
have...
Ville Husso's playing crazy. I don't know so much about Binnington, but Husso seems like he's kind of pulling a Binnington.
Huh. That's kind of weird to think of right now. Then I also have Minnesota and Nashville. I think Minnesota isn't really looking on a win now situation, but they have a really young core, and once that develops more, they're in a good situation with how well they've been playing. Nashville, I think you're in a win now situation. They're looking especially with all those talks about Forsberg leaving.
Yeah, I don't know about Saros in the sense of their goaltending. I think UC Saros will stay. I mean, you have a Matt Duchene revenge tour right now. He's been racking up goals.
Is he still going off?
I think he's got 24, 25, something like that. So he's probably gonna hit 30, man.
That is very true.
Not bad at all. I mean that, and you have young players like Tanner Jeannot, who's been playing whatever. Yossi is getting older, so
but he's still playing like a top 5 defenseman.
Yeah.
In
So
the
I guess
league,
I'll agree with you on that. It is a win now because of players like Yossi and the Forsberg talks, and and the fact that you're having players who've had kind of down seasons the past few years, now they're having an up season. Take advantage of it and go far. That's what I think.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we already talked about this team, but we got Calgary and Los Angeles. Calgary, I'm just going to quickly say, yes, it is a win-now situation. Yeah. It is not even close to obvious that they're not, and that's all I really got to say.
Too many contracts you got to sign.
Yeah, literally.
So there's time's up, and after this, one more season after this. So
really,
yeah.
Oh, nice to know. Los Angeles and Vegas.
LA, no, because they're retooling. I think Quick will leave pretty soon. Cal Peterson will take the main spot.
They look at like a really good situation though.
They have a great. I mean, you got Kaliev and Byfield.
Kopitar's still
Looks
on that team,
Kopitar's
right?
still playing whatever.
Quick is still being a good option A, option B situation.
Quick is doing good this season. I'm just saying, if Quick leaves,
they're still fine.
You have Cal Peterson.
They still have good goaltending. 100%. Vegas is in a win situation now.
They're
looking like it.
Vegas is gonna get. This is kind of what they deserve for kind of screwing some players over, man. I mean, it's like, I guess a lot of it comes from your first season. You go to the finals, so what happens? You always expect a final run, and it's always been disappointment since that. And I mean, the kids still make a big splash.
Second round exit, I said, right? I think I've been saying it almost every episode. Second round exit.
But yeah, it's with Vegas. I guess it kind of is, yeah, in a sense. I mean, think of it with all the money you're putting in and stuff. Like you're always gonna, try and force more because you have Eichel now and you have Mark Stone and Pacioretty. But cap space is gonna become a big problem, right?
Yeah, 100%. So there's actually, I'm gonna say there's like 4 more teams here I'll talk about.
Okay.
So we have Dallas and Edmonton.
Edmonton,
Dallas, yes. Edmonton, they're itching and scratching a lot closer to yes because of McDavid and Draisaitl's situation. Even if they're not even in a playoff spot right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. Dallas, it could be the end of the Sagan-Ben era, so maybe.
They still have tons of years on their contracts, but yeah, you're...
A bit of retool. Dallas is a weird team, man. Like, I don't even know where I'd put them. Like, if they make the playoffs, to be honest, I don't...
They won't make it.
I see a strong first round, but I don't see a success in the first round, to be honest.
No.
So I don't think it's too much worrisome. I think Dallas, they have Jason Robertson. That's a future... He's a stud. Absolute stud, man. So, you have some good... You have some good pieces and stuff, but you have some good pieces to trade as well. So, Dallas, I don't know if they're going to win now. I mean, goalie tending to... Jake Ottinger's playing really well, but...
I think if you look at it in a situation of, like, your core and just what's happening with organizations, I would say Dallas and Edmonton are both, yes, you need to win a cup, but you're not in the right position to actually be contenders for one.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's probably the best way I can say it. And, Tristan, that's all the teams I got for you.
Oh, weren't you going to do 2 more?
Oh, well, okay, I guess I will. These are, okay, personally, both of these are no, in my opinion, that they don't need to win a cup, and it's Anaheim and Vancouver.
I agree, because Anaheim's already in a retool, and it looks like their young guns are already playing prominent enough that they're going to be good in a few years. Vancouver, same thing. You're going to probably have to trade a player like Besser eventually.
I think they should trade Miller still too.
And yeah, maybe I don't think he wants to go out, but yeah, you might have to trade some pieces and stuff. I think honestly, the fact that you have Demko, you just learned to get some good depth pieces. Vancouver in a few years with some experience too. West was looking good.
Yeah, and I think that's all the teams that we're going to go through for. If they actually have a chance of winning a cup or in a win now situation, my bad. But hey, that is basically wrapping up episode 11, Tristan. I'll give you your last words.
Sweet. Well, I guess my last words will be thank you guys so much for watching. Or listening, I guess. It's not really...
Watching.
We'll get video eventually. We'll figure it out.
Should we make that announcement soon, or should we wait? Give them a surprise.
Well... Maybe we might be going visual soon, so we'll try and figure that all out. But hey, we appreciate you guys for listening and all that. Thanks for the support. Of course, if you guys have any sort of recommendations, leave it down in the comments. Drop a like, of course. And hey, keep on rocking in the free world, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll let Brendan take it off from here.
Yeah, Tristan, just like he said, thank you guys so much for all the support. We would love to hear what you guys say in the comments or anything you want us to talk about still. Leave a like and a subscribe. That would be much help to the channel. Keep it growing. And hey, we'll see you in the free world. Bye-bye.
Peace.